Imagine your customer wants your team to develop a software application for authors that will help them create beautiful ebooks on their own. So in this video I'll walk you through all the tools and processes from this brief statement to the whole project scope example. And stay until the end, because I'm going to share lots of valuable insights that you won't find anywhere else. Okay, but before we dive deep into this project scope example, I need to explain one critical concept in scope management. It is called deliverables. A deliverable is a tangible or intangible piece of the project that a project team needs to create to reach project's objectives. Deliverables can be internal for your team's needs or external for the needs of stakeholders. And also deliverables can be interim or final. So it means that project scope describes all the work required to create all these deliverables. But wait a minute. It's software development, so the main deliverable is always a software application, isn't it? And the main challenge is that yes, it's the main deliverable, but that's not the only deliverable on your software project. Let me explain it on an example. You got this email from your boss or sales team with an introduction to your new customer and their product. Next, as a great project manager, you want to initiate the project and create a project charter. And if you don't know what a project charter is, I'm going to leave you a link in the description to this video. So, the final version of the application that you need to develop will be your main deliverable. But now we need to ask several vital questions to your customers to find out about other deliverables. And usually the first questions come from the project lifecycle. And here are several examples. So, do you have visual designs or wireframes already?
No, as we discussed with sales team, you'll be providing the whole design before we get into the development.
Okay, now the set of UI designs is our external deliverable. Next question. Will you distribute the app to App Store yourself?
Well, I don't have any experience, so if you can handle it for me, I'll be glad to include it in the project.
Now, if you look into Apple's App Store, you'll see that each application has a video, several screenshots, some metadata and descriptions. It's not a big deal, but someone needs to create it all. Now, going forward, I'm turning on my business acumen of the software development. So, how and when do you plan to start promoting the application? Do you have a campaign in mind?
Oh, yeah, of course. By the way, I'll need a way to demonstrate my application at a conference in September. It should include some core functionality. Is it a problem?
No, not a problem at all. Glad we discovered it right at the start. If you think about it, this demo version of application is our interim version of the final deliverable. So we need to implement several features of the application and provide them to the customers for this conference, right in the middle of the project. As you understand, this conference has high business value for customers. So we need to test and polish our demo application before handing it over to them. It's an additional work that we need to plan in advance. Okay, stick with me because it's getting more interesting right now. But before we move on, please pause the video and click the like button if you find it valuable. So, for example, here's a question that appears when you put yourself into the shoes of the end users. You said your target audience is authors. They are creative type. Do you expect them to be tech savvy?
Oh, hell no! There's a learning curve for them in any new tech. But I see where you're going. We need comprehensive manuals and tutorials. Can you guys handle it as well?
Sure, we'll need to create a website and write a lot of instructions. It's not a problem, but we'll have to hire web developers and technical writers. And now we learn that we need to expand our team, and we'll have different expertise here. And most probably this sub-project will go in parallel to our main development effort. And last but not least, the customer mentioned as a side note.
I know we'll do it in sprints following Scrum, but I'm new to this, so I would like to request that you create project timeline for me.
No problem, I can provide a featured timeline for you. And it's an example of a project management deliverable. You see, your customers and internal stakeholders may ask you for things like a list of risks, a fully written project management plan or project scope statement as a deliverable. And it means that you need to plan the efforts to provide these deliverables in a suitable form. So here's the list of our deliverables for this example project. UI designs, demo version of the application for the conference, app knowledge base on a website, the final app distributed to App Store, feature timeline. So you see how we discovered lots of hidden scope just by talking through customers' expectations. You need to capture all of it into a project chart. The next step is to collect more requirements on each of these deliverables, because you need to understand what amount of work it takes to create them. And usually it means that you need to communicate a lot with your team, with your customers, with subject matter experts, with internal and external stakeholders, and in general with anyone who can help you deliver this product. So, based on the brief description of the application and the overall vision of our customer, we may learn that we need a rich text editor. It should support all the formatting supported by Kindle devices. We also talked about functionality that allows authors to see what their book will look like in real time. And we need an easy way to navigate through chapters. So, here's the sidebar. You can organize all these requirements for a software project in different ways. So, for example, you can put it in a hierarchy of epics, features and user stories as lots of agile practitioners do. I would capture all these mentioned requirements as epics because they will have several big features and lots of user stories. Alternatively, you can create a requirements traceability matrix and track requirements, designs, testing all in one place. It's a more robust approach for more complex applications. If you don't know what a RTM is, again I'll leave you a link in the description. Collecting these detailed requirements takes a lot of time, so most probably you won't do it thoroughly at the start of the project. You'll either use the rolling wave planning techniques or you will apply agile software development principles here. So at this stage you usually end up with the high-level descriptions of epics and features. Nevertheless, you need to collect these high-level requirements for all project deliverables, because you need to create a high-level plan or budget, or you promised the feature delivery plan. The next critical step is to create a project scope statement. In software development, we are mostly interested in describing deliverables in a narrative language. You need to ensure that your non-technical customers understand what you do and how you create their application. Before we move on, you can pause the video and read through these descriptions. Next, suppose that your project includes the software development of application itself and some additional deliverables. In that case, I strongly recommend creating a work breakdown structure. It will add transparency to the project scope of work. In most cases, it means that you'll have several sub-projects, and for the main one, you'll use Scrum to develop the application, and for the rest of them, you'll use some plan-driven techniques. So, all these tools and processes in general describe the project scope. In theory, the approved version of the project scope statement and WBS dictionary becomes your scope baseline. Or in our case, it will be a project scope statement and the list of features. The last step in the process is to take all the user stories and work breakdown structure elements and break them down into tasks. But in software development, you do it at the start of each sprint throughout the whole project, not at the start of the project or during planning. If you are in the software development industry or you want to get into it, you need to download my free PDF called 7 Mistakes That Software PMs Make. If you want to become a great project manager, you need to address those mistakes. The link is in the description. Download the PDF now. So I've mentioned lots of critical things like project scope statement and requirements traceability metrics. These are critical tools in software development. So click one of these videos right now and learn more about them. Thanks for watching, see you next time.